What's good, family? It's your man, Ice Wall Cowboy, coming back like I never left. I hope the audio is good on this one. For some reason, I decided to set my mic aside somewhere, and I don't know where it is. I can't find it. So, I'm going to see if we can scrape by with this one being okay, even though I don't know where that mic is. So I believe we'll be all right, even with these loud pipes on my truck. We'll check and see. But hey, like most Cowboy fans, right now there is a desire for me to be positive and optimistic. Notice I said desire. With the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer, it seems, well, not just Schottenheimer, but the coaches that the Joneses are putting around Schotty, it seems, I gotta say it again, it seems that they are trying to do things a little different. I'm not sure that's the case though, so I'm here just to say, y'all hold tight, pump your brakes. Let's just not get too far out there in our optimism just yet. I know we love the Cowboys, and I know that you want to always be optimistic about your team. I'm optimistic about the team, but I dang sure ain't optimistic about Jerry Stephen Jones. And you know, I noticed a pattern as I started thinking about this and doing a little bit of research on it. As Stephen has been given more responsibility, it seems, or more of a voice in the final outcome of personnel, the team has gotten more and more conservative. And over the last 4 or 5 years, it's to the point that they are conservative like a very poor old lady who doesn't even have a bank account or trust banks, who hides her money under a mattress. If that's you, hey, that's your business. That's okay, I understand. Some people don't trust banks. But my point is, that's how they're behaving. Now, Stephen, I thought he was an accountant major, but Stephen actually has a degree in, is it biochemical engineering or some type of engineering? If y'all remember, put it in the comments for me. But I was thinking it was accounting because he was such a spinster, so conservative, to the point of every time we get to this point of the season, or year, the season's over, they start the whole gaslighting that we don't have any money, we don't have any money, we don't have any money. Man, that's bullshit. They've got plenty of money. All they've got to do is restructure some contracts. Not to mention that the fact that the NFL has got some monster streaming deals on the table, but they're not even on the table. They're inked now, so they are in effect. Therefore, the salary cap is going up tremendously for all teams, and they know that. So for them to, and this is what they're going to do, they're going to say, well, we can't sign any free agents, any really, really serious free agents, because we got to continue to pay Dak, and we got to continue to pay CD, and we got to pay Micah. Now, I hope they don't do this, but knowing the Joneses, what they're going to do is they're going to say, well, we'll hold off on paying Micah and push that out and negotiate it later on, when all they got to do is go ahead and get it out of the way. And Michael said, I'll take $10 million less. Okay, sign the man for the $30 million and be done with it. They always wait until the back end of when it's time to sign the contracts and end up paying more. The definition of, one of the definitions, best definition I've heard of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. They will do this most likely because they always do. Wait, sign Micah, and until the point where their backs are up against the wall, and he has all the leverage in the contract negotiation, and decides, well, you know what, I'll take that $40 million after all. Y'all better give me that $40 million. That's how I don't understand. I've never seen wealthy people that think like this. I don't know. To me, they act more like people that have never had anything. But I digress. At any rate. But whatever happened to Jerry the gambler? I think what happened to Jerry the gambler, somebody asked this question. I was watching, I believe it was Angry Cowboy fan. He asked that question. Whatever happened to Jerry the gambler? Why has this team become so conservative? It's all Steven, baby. As Jerry's gotten older, we can see that his mind slips a little bit sometimes in what he says, and I think they're starting to guard him a little bit as far as media appearances are concerned. They can't stop it yet, but it seems to me that they're guarding him against media appearances, and not necessarily just media appearances, maybe even who he speaks to in the media. But with that being said, that means he's taking a little bit more of a back seat. I think he's taking more of a back seat because, and I think that's the reason we saw what we saw with Trey Lance. With Trey Lance, he didn't consult anyone, he just did it. That was because he knew that if he talked with Steven or whomever else he consults with on a regular basis for those large decisions, they would probably go to Steven immediately, and Steven would shut it down. Stephen Jones is the problem. He is the Achilles heel of this team right now. Mark my words, he is the Achilles heel of this team. He will not move on any impactful players. They will not move quickly on contracts and get them done. They still are harboring that old philosophy of deadlines. This is what Jerry used to say all the time. Deadlines make deals. That's a bunch of crap, Jerry. You know it now. Those days are over. These guys have leverage now. They understand their leverage. And their agents are very good at what they do. And any leverage you get, by God, you better take it. Micah's giving you some leverage, you better take it. What could you do with that other $10 million? The problem, Micah, shifting gears. The problem with this, Michael, is you say you'll take a $10 million cut. Okay, good. Guess what they're going to do with that $10 million? Absolutely nothing. They're not going to do anything with it worth talking about. They're going to squander it like they always do. I pray I'm very wrong with every bit of what I'm saying. But I have now become the pessimistic Jones despiser. I don't hate the people because I don't know them personally, but I hate their management style and I despise their management style. The Joneses are killing. They are single-handedly, as a family. I don't know the rest of them, but I gotta call it as it is. They are killing this franchise. Everything dies, but they are speeding it up. So you gotta realize something. There are young people that would like to have been Cowboys fans or not, because they're under 30 years old, and they never saw the Cowboys doing anything worth following them for. Those old heads that have been here 50 years are like, man, that's my team. Back in the day, we living off pipe dreams now. But one thing's for sure, Cowboy family, Cowboy Nation, man, y'all, hey, love the team, despise the Joneses. I've backed my emotions out of this to a degree where it doesn't bother me anymore like it used to. But that was out of self-preservation. There's some things you have to do for yourself. I know there's some out there that say, man, you got to be a ride or die. You got to go with this team no matter what. Oh, I'm down with the team. I'm not going to another team. I'm not abandoning. But what I am doing is protecting my mental status. I'm not about to let the Cowboys or anyone else drive me crazy. And for some people, that's what's happening, man. I've seen some people online, some of the stuff that they're saying, the reactions and what they're feeling and what they're thinking. And some people are having anxiety and bad dreams and, oh man, just crazy stuff because of how vested they're in the Dallas Cowboys. They ain't getting paid one red cent. But because they have attached their emotional well-being to a football team, they are being skull-drugged by Jerry and Stephen Jones. No, player. Not up in here. Not going to happen, no. No, no, no. That's what y'all better say, man. Last year, my wife wanted to go to a game. Before the season started, I saw the way that they were doing business as usual, acting like they're a mom and pop organization. Nope. 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 I told them, no, baby, we're not going. I'm not giving Jerry and Stephen Jones a dime. Not until they put a product on the field that's actually worth seeing. Right now, they don't have it. And that's what I suggest a lot of people do. Now, if they continue the trend that they've started this year by adding good coaches around Brian Schottenheimer, they've added really good pieces around him, which is great because any good leader knows that he really needs people around him that are smarter than him. And what do I mean when I say that? In certain areas, they don't necessarily have to be just overall brainiac, but they have an expertise, and you draw from that as a leader. So what they're doing is they are arming him with the best that they, well, I won't say the best that they can, but they're arming him with really good coaches around him. That's good. That's a good start. That's good. We're trending in the right direction. However, they must maintain that trend into free agency and the draft. Now, here's where it gets squirrely. Stephen Jones is, and I say it's Stephen, y'all, I'm sorry, I don't believe it's Jerry. Jerry was a maverick for most of the beginning of the time that they owned the Cowboys. Remember the Herschel Walker trade? But, and we still see the maverick in Jerry. Remember, he just traded for Trey Lance, that 4th round pick. That's maverick Jerry stuff. I would rather see that, even though Trey Lance is not panned out, I would much rather see that than to see what they're doing now. You will not win a Super Bowl being scary. Scared money don't make money. That's a saying from the hood, propagated by those gentlemen that have a employment that is less than legal. scared, but they're right, man. Scared money don't make money. Now, I'll tell you, if they went back to some degree to that mentality that Jerry used to have, it would be so much better. We as Cowboys fans can say, hey, my team is at least trying to do something. By God, I know that Jerry and Steven are out there. They're stirring the water. They're making the phone calls. They're not doing like Steven did this last time someone called him about a great player. This fool hung up the phone and let no one know about it. He said not one word to anybody. We found out about it months later. I can't remember who the player was, but it was a very good player. Didn't even entertain it. That's why I say this is more Steven. That's why I say, by God, Cowboys fans, we may be in a world of hurt. This season right now, this is going to tell us, right here, right now, if they don't do anything in free agency, we're talking about, even though they've shown signs that they may be trying to change a little bit, and they've even said cryptically that they need to make some changes. But Steven, even after saying cryptically that they needed to make changes, he turns around and out of the other side of his mouth said, but we're probably going to do the same thing that we did last year. What? So here's the deal. And I've raised my voice not because I'm upset or hurt or hot, but because I'm really trying to drive this point home. Cowboy Nation, we cannot allow the Dallas Cowboys to continue to jerk our chains like they have been. There's no way I would pull up to this next stop, put a chain around my neck, walk into a store and hand somebody the end of that chain that I don't know. Tell them do what they will with my emotions or with my life. If we tie ourselves to this team in that way, that's what we're doing. I love this team, but I love me more. So I will not allow Steven Jones to continue to jerk my chain. I only pray, and I'm sorry, I have no optimism in this anymore. I have some hope, but hope and optimism are not the same thing. Hope is a desire. Optimism is a belief. I have no belief in Steven Jones. Jerry is about gone. We all know. There's no sense in lying about it. And I think things are actually going to get worse when he's gone. Steven will be worse because at that point, he is completely and totally autonomous. He's the man. Right now, he does have the weight of Jerry in his ear, dragging him down when he wants to do things to some degree. But at the end of the day, he's still doing, basically from what I can see, he's still doing what he wants to do. I'm telling y'all the problem is Steven Jones. Now, my prayer at this point is that when Jerry does check out, that Steven sells the team. I don't know the man from Adam, but I pray he's greedy. Doesn't want the limelight, no longer wants the headache, and just desires to be done with it. And I hope the rest of the children that are involved and whoever else that has equity in the team, I hope they just want to go, sell it, get rid of it. I'm tired of it. I've had enough. It's too much headache. Let somebody that has some doggone sense buy this team and take it where it needs to go. Buy it. Please hire a GM that knows what they're doing. It's a shame that the most valuable franchise, the most valuable sports franchise in the world is being run like a mom and pop corner convenience store that still sells bologna and crackers. You can come in and cut yourself. Now, I remember that from when I was a child. It's been 50 years ago or more. That's how they're running this thing. You cannot win running in fear. And that's what they're doing. They're running in fear. They're running the business in fear. They're running this team out of fear. And it's not working. It is not working. So, Cowboys fans, y'all take care, man. Be safe out here. I'm on this road. Trying to get back to the house. Chillax a minute. On this beautiful but cloudy Saturday afternoon. Y'all take care. Man, be praying. Pray that they actually see the light. And that they will actually make moves. And stop letting them gaslight. Cowboys, I gotta do this. Cowboy Nation, would y'all stop carrying the water for ESPN and the rest of the four-letter networks? I am sick of Cowboy fans buying into the lies that Stephen and Jerry sell to the media to perpetuate. And man, they run with it. They use the media against us all the time. Why can't we see that? Why can't we see that they are flat out lying when they say they don't have money? What about the Rams? A few years back, the Rams went and got Von Miller, and they got what's his name? Odell Beckham. That was the year they went to the Super Bowl and won it, wasn't it? They said they didn't have any money. That's what people said. What about Philadelphia Eagles? Oh, I hate to bring them up, but guess what? Where did they find the money to sign all the people that they have? Y'all stop letting Jerry and Stephen Jones be lazy GMs. My guy, Law Nation says this all the time. It is their job to actually find the freaking money. It's not Michael Parsons' job. It's not our job. It's their job to find the money. Guess who pays them? You do. You pay Stephen and Jerry Jones. Every time you buy a ticket, every time you buy a hat, every time you buy a t-shirt, every time you buy any kind of paraphernalia, even now as you're watching some of the football games on the streaming services, you're paying Jerry and Stephen Jones, because Jerry and Stephen Jones, like every other team and team owner, get a portion of the revenue from that which is coming now, like Prime. All these games that's on Prime now are coming to Prime. Yep, they're making money off of it. So why don't we hold them accountable? I guarantee you, wherever you work, if you were the general manager at that job and you had not had a successful year, and I'm not talking monetarily, because for the Joneses and the football team, it ain't about the money as far as well, let me rephrase it. For the Joneses, it is about the money, but for us, the people that employ them, even though they are, yes, they are multi-billionaires, even for the Joneses, they are, it's about the money. So if it's about the money for them, it's not about the money for us, there's a problem, there's a disconnect, because we don't have the same priorities. If you went to your boss and said, boss, I know it's been 30 years since I was successful in my job as general manager, but I promise you, if you hang in there with me, I'm gonna get it together. 30 years? You haven't been successful in your job in 30 years? Man, you've tanked whatever business that was. Nobody can survive like that. The only reason the Dallas Cowboys are like they are is because of the fans. Jerry and Stephen Jones know that they have the most loyal fan base in sports, and they use it to their advantage. They use it, the propaganda. They use it to continue to sell paraphernalia, put butts in the seats. But if we stop, guess what? They've got to stop. They would have to see the light and do whatever's necessary to actually start to win again. But right now, they don't feel the weight. Now, I know that they are super rich, so you can't really hurt their pockets, quote unquote. But one thing I noticed, I saw it, Jerry Jones, when they went to Frisco last year for the training camp, man, it was way down. The number of people that were there, So see, they're trying to sell some optimism right now. And watch, y'all gonna fall for it. Y'all gonna fall for it. Like every year. Now last year was better. Last year was better. Cowboys fans were starting to say, man, enough is enough. So they knew that they had to do something coming up this year. There was no way in, you know what, they were going to be able to bring McCarthy back reasonably. Bring McCarthy back without some major changes. Or else it really wouldn't have been anybody in the seats in Frisco. And believe me, they use that as a gauge to measure the temperature of Cowboys Nation for the season coming up. So they need to, we don't need to be there. I'm not going to a game this year. Nah, right? Unless I see some major changes. And I do mean major. We've got to get some guys that are impactful in free agency. It must happen. If we don't, nothing's going to change. You can't build your team on rookies, and you cannot build that team completely through the draft. Can't happen. It cannot happen because those guys don't have the skill level yet. They may have the talent, but they have to be coached up, most of them. And here lately, we hadn't been coaching up. Somebody's been doing something wrong because the guys we've been getting have been flopping. So, y'all, man, don't fall for the okie doke. Let's not fall for the okie doke. Let's band together and make sure Jerry and Stephen Jones hears us and understands Cowboys fans have had enough. We're tired. We're tired of the gaslighting. We're tired of you pissing on us and telling us it's raining. Because that's what you're doing. Stephen Jones, you're losing your grip on this franchise, whether you know it or not. Everything dies. Everything declines. But you don't have to help it. Rome died, and it was much bigger than the Dallas Cowboys. You're losing this franchise one fan at a time, primarily to attrition, because the fan base, the older fan base, is now starting to get old. Not older. They're starting to get old. 60 plus. And these young kids, they ain't studying no Dallas Cowboys, and I wouldn't be either. You are squandering a valuable, very valuable, highly valuable commodity, and you're about to wreck this train. You may not see it now, but I guarantee you the fans that will look around and think about it and start to see the drop-off, and it will admit it, it's there. As I talk to younger people about the team that they like, they don't like the Cowboys. They like these teams that have been winning. Matter of fact, some of them hate the Cowboys because of the older fans that are so loyal. They don't understand it. And quite frankly, I get their lack of understanding us. Why? Why are you all so loyal to losers? That's what this franchise has become. The Dallas Cowboys, under the leadership of Steven and Jerry Jones, has become the laughingstock of the NFL. And I think that's an awful shame. It does not have to be. For those of us that love this team, we'll continue to love the team, but we will not tolerate the nonsense that has gone on to this point. Man, I didn't mean for this thing to be this long, but I had to get all this off my chest. I feel so much better. Hey, Cowboy Nation, the rest of you all, I suggest you do the same. Get in front of a camera, get in front of somebody, and get all of this crap off your chest, and let them, let the Joneses know that you've had enough, and that you won't be buying any tickets, you won't be buying any paraphernalia, and you will be very vocal about it and let other folks know that you will not be spending any money for giving money into the Dallas Cowboys in this upcoming season, unless we see some major changes. And that starts with free agency and them picking up some very key pieces. And by God, y'all stop blaming everything on Dak. Dak don't play no freaking defense. Dak does not play freaking special teams. He does not do any of those things. And if the man got some help from a running back that was actually a worthy running back, it would be a lot better. Not to mention the offensive line. But I won't get on that rant. Man, let me stop talking about y'all. I said I wasn't going to get emotional about it, but that'll get me pissed off all over again thinking about it. Later.